I have a question for you. Does the idea of death frighten you? Does the very concept of your ultimate end and the end of the existence of every other person around you make you shiver just that little bit? It's an incredibly natural fear to have, Like, the average person will obviously find it difficult to imagine the fact that, one day, sooner or later, you will die. And then, when that happens, when the body is buried and the ashes are scattered, everything you are, everything you were, everything you ever will be, may just end up lost to time. Wow, this got really dark really quick for a video about a talking Spanish cat. Holy shit. Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Genuinely a very, very good film. Probably the best animated film since Into the Spider-Verse, and I'm not even making that up. For a sequel to a spin-off to Shrek 2, it has absolutely no right to be as high quality as it is. The voice acting is great, the animation and colours are beautiful, and the story's messages about death and accepting mortality is something that you really wouldn't expect to be in a film like this. However, the thing that I like the most about this film really is its antagonist. Now, this film has 3 separate antagonists, but I want to focus on the one that I think is the most interesting, that being Death, played by Magnum Laura. And when I say death, I'm not saying like there's a metaphorical sense. I mean, he's literally just the Grim Reaper in the form of a wolf. It's absolutely fantastic. With so many interesting characters, and especially antagonists throughout this film, I wanted to see how the film establishes Death as a character, as a credible threat to Puss, and how his actions impact Puss's character arc for the rest of the film. So, in the words of every white dad that's ever lived, let's get this show on the road. Now, like all bad things, The Last Wish starts in a very mysterious and scary wasteland known as Spain. At the beginning of the film, Puss can best be described as arrogant and reckless. He knows that as a cat he has multiple lives, and he has shown precisely zero respect for any of those lives. It really seems that the only way he actually cares about people is in the way that he is a legend to them, quote unquote. He doesn't really actually seem to care about the people that he's helping. Hell, he doesn't even know the name of the town he's in at the beginning of the film.
People of Córdoba!
It's Del Mar!
People of Del Mar!
Absolutely brilliant save, mate. 10 out of 10. Could have done it better myself. But yeah, basically, Puss seems to care a lot more about this idea of being a legend than he does about actually having a respectful and happy life. However, this all seems to change when he has his first fight with Death. So, for context... Okay, so after Puss forgets how to take 3 steps to his right in order to dodge a bell, he's informed by the doctor that he died. After a short montage of all of his previous death, Puss learns that he is actually down to his 9th and final life. After ignoring the doctor's advice to stop being such a reckless bloody dumbass, Puss decides to go to a bar and drink his sorrows away. Like your dad. However, his afternoon of drinking in the pub like a true Brexit geezer is interrupted when he's confronted by Death, taking the form of a wolf and pretending to be a bounty hunter. After the pair exchange words like this is a Discord channel or something, Puss decides to initiate the fight. And he gets absolutely decimated. It was like watching Real Madrid play Swindon Town. Death just thoroughly outmatches our little favourite orange cat. His reactions are quicker, his strikes are more aggressive, and it ultimately culminates in Death cutting Puss on the top of the head with one of his sickles. There's a single shot that just consists of a close-up of Puss's eyes with a single red drop of blood just pouring down his face. That single shot does so much to establish Death as a proper threat to Puss. Up until now, we have been told multiple times that Puss has never been cut by anyone.
Who's the cat who rolls the dice and gambles with his life? Who's ever been touched by a blade? Puss in Boots is never afraid. Puss in Boots has never been touched by a blade. Never been touched. But you? Skin that cat!
But despite that, Death manages to just cut him immediately on their very first encounter. It's a brilliant way of setting up Death as an antagonist by showing that he is capable of doing something that nobody else can. I also just want to point out something else. Death leaves a scar on the top of Puss's head. It's a visible scar, and it remains visible for the rest of the entire film. It's a brilliant reminder of the impact that Death has already had on Puss in both a literal and emotional sense. And on that line of thought, this film does an absolutely fantastic job of just showing how scared Puss is of Death. You see, Death is actually introduced with a very specific tune. It's the whistle that I played at the top of the video, and every single time that that whistle plays, Puss panics. Now, this all ends up reaching its head when, in the middle of a chaotic battle scene, Puss recognizes Death's presence and just runs. Like he just books it. Like you just saw your ex-girlfriend at ShopRite and she's checking out and you're scared because you don't want to see her again after everything that's happened between you two, and God... Anyways, yeah, he just runs. So, as an audience member, you end up associating the sound of Death's whistle with the fear that Puss gets as a result. And Puss's struggle with Death really becomes symbolic of his entire struggle throughout the film, which is really him trying to come to grasp with his own morality. He's trying to get the titular last wish so he can wish for all of his lives back, so he doesn't have to risk dying. Death is only hunting him down in the first place because he doesn't believe that Puss has shown enough respect to any of his lives, and it would just be easier to take his last one now, since he's clearly not doing anything of value with it, nor does he seem to actually value it that much.
You know, I'm not a cat person. I find the very idea of 9 lives absurd. And you didn't value any of them. So, why don't I do us both a favor and take this last one now?
That's kidding!
Shh, don't tell.
Run, Pussy Boots! Make the way!
Go ahead, run for it. Makes it more fun for me.
But it's after that initial fight with Death that Puss starts viewing his lives as less expendable and more valuable. And it's only when he reaches the natural end of that character arc during the final fight with Death that he's able to defeat Death, and Death gives up on his pursuit, as he now thinks that Puss is a changed cat who no longer is living recklessly and actually values the sanctity of life.
I know I can never defeat you, Lobo, but I will never stop fighting for this life.
I came here for an arrogant little legend who thought he was immortal. But I don't see him anymore. Live your life, Puss in Boots. Live it well. You know we will meet again, right?
Sí, hasta la muerte.
I also just really like that final exchange between Puss and Death, where Puss admits he will see Death again because he admits now and acknowledges the fact that he is mortal. He will die, that is natural, and that's okay, as long as you make the most of the life that you have. It brings his character arc full circle from being somebody who just did not care about the sanctity of life to somebody who was going to hold on to it with both paws, I guess? Yeah, paws. And just make the most of his life. It's great. Anyways, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here, but I really hope you guys enjoyed my little analysis of the Wolfman from the funny little talking cat movie. It's genuinely a very good film, and I highly recommend that you guys check it out if you haven't already. I also recommend that you all give me money. I'll put my Venmo in the credits, and we'll call it good, alright? Okay, thank you very much.